this is what I mean. This is what I mean by it will, till you believe in that object, it will impact you psychologically. It will impact you. So in our olden times, these tavis and all those forms of amulets and all those things were given is actually a form of they mantra karke dete hai, is a part of all these cures, I would say. So I am a great Osho fan. He says that the form is the gateway to the unformed. I am talking of cosmic energies. So everyone may not be able to easily connect with the cosmic energies. So that is why these forms were created, so that through the forms, the people were taken to the unformed. So what is black hat is, let's look at further. So the foundation of black hat is this. The foundation of Feng Shui is actually this whole called Lo Shu, which is a magic square. Okay, now this is actually cyclical in nature. So if you can see, there are some colors: the black, brown, green, red, yellow, and metal kind of objects, and 5 is always in the center. And you can see that 1 represents career and knowledge. So I'll take you through this because I said that it's cyclical in nature. So if you look at why it is called the magic square, you take from any side, you make the total, you'll get 15. So 9 plus 4 plus 2 is 15. 5 plus 7 plus 3 is 15. 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 15. So in any direction you take, the total will come to 15. Why? Because it is, our life is cyclical in nature. There is a time cycle, there is a life cycle, season cycle. So let me take through to one cycle like this. Okay, let's take the time cycle. So if number 1, which is considered as the north, opposite side is south, which is red. So let's take the energy. If I consider 1 or the north as 12 o'clock midnight, what is the color that time? Dark blue, black, right? What is the level of energy at that point of time? It is always at the ebb. It is at the lowest, right? If I go directly opposite, that means 9 is nothing but 12 o'clock in the noon. That means that is why it is red in color. Red has got the highest frequency. So let's go quickly go around through this. So in the night, when the energy is very low, then the next state is that the Brahma Muhurat. Around 3:30 to 6 o'clock is the time where that is why it is knowledge. If you look at it, when people get up and they start, most of them talk or do some chanting or meditation. That's why meditation or studies done at this point of time will be extremely good, because it's the Brahma Muhurat time. Remember, this energy is in transition. Okay. Then we come to the number 3 square, which is now the energy is growing upwards and outwards. Okay. From the lowest ebb, now it starts growing up, up, up. If you look at what is written there is big wood. That means a large tree, an oak tree or a banyan tree. Now the tree grows upward and outward, right? So that's why the energy now starts moving. People people start moving out of the house. They're going towards their work now. So they will start getting up, they'll freshen up, get ready, and they start moving out. They move out from the house. Then transactions happens. The 4 is the small wood, the wealth part. And at the level of 9, when we reach the 9th square, then the energy which is 12 o'clock in the night. We started from 12 o'clock in the midnight. Now we are at 12 o'clock noon, where the energy as the maximum. They're actually at some point of time at 12 o'clock, the energy blasts. And then we move to the afternoon part where we start feeling. So at 9 o'clock, there will be a lot of transactions. When you go out, there is a lot of, the market is full, the banks are full, every transaction. So at 12 o'clock, the energy is extremely high. So if you come to square number 2, which is southwest small, then if you really look at that point of time is around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you walk out of the house, you will find that energy very, very dull. It is like a hung energy. If you observe 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, and that's why we feel sleepy after, it's called afternoon siesta, because the energy is very hung. Then slowly the energy that has blasted at the south sector, now it starts consolidating, and then now it is going back into towards going down, and that's why we, at in the western the west or the seventh square, people will then start at 3 o'clock when you feel 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, people start getting ready to go home, and slowly then they come. You haven't heard parties at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? So it's only in the evening that when the consolidation happens, the energies, that is where the parties happen. Okay, so this is cyclic in nature. Although it is represented in the squares, it is actually cyclic in nature. You can take the life cycle, because if I consider one as a death, which is also called life, and we will move through that. The season cycle is there, so everything moves in a cycle. So that's why it is cyclic in nature. So I'm going to share something as the classroom that actually when I started learning this and I started teaching this in Bombay. When I first did it with my masters here in Bombay, they taught me, and then I started teaching this. So this particular house was this kind of shape. This particular sector was missing in that entire house. Now we were on the 5th floor of this building, entire building. I'm showing you the plan of the entire building, very rough plan. This was the entrance of the house. Now this was a passage. There was another door at the other end. Now in Black Hat, what you do, we take the baseline as the front door, and then we complete the square. I'll show you how to do that. Okay. So this is now the Loshu on your house property. Okay, I have superimposed the Loshu on your house property. So 1 represents career, then 1-8 represents the knowledge part, then family, wealth, reputation. If you look at life cycle, I said that once you start growing up, you finish your studies, then you start making money, then you get some fame, reputation, and that's when you get married. So remember the cyclic part what I start talking about. So once you know how to superimpose the Loshu on the house property, now here what has happened is that this sector was missing. That northeast sector was completely missing. The class that I was taking, this guy was an MBA from IIM graduate. If that northeast sector is missing, it also tells me that conception is a problem, will be a problem. Okay, because this is death, so first part will be the conception part in the cycle. So there could be issues with the conception part. So when I checked out with the guy, that typically when you are in the building, similar problems will appear. The intensity of the problems will be different. Now remember, we were on the 5th floor, and I did not have an answer to this as to say, if the knowledge sector is missing from this house, how come this guy has been an MBA from, and that too from IIM? So in the break, what I did, I gave them a break, and I went down and I started observing the building. Okay. So, and it will affect the youngest son also. Now there was only one son in this family. So the son was, it should have technically affected the son. I did not have an answer. When I went first, I always go to the terrace and see the building from top. I walk around the building and see what is there around, and something interesting happened for me. On the ground floor, they had created a garden, so that entire space was their part. Technically, it was not a part in the floor plan, but that they started using that space. So ground floor had no problem. Now the passage part, in many places were completely closed, and some places were half open, the blue part. So wherever it was open, there was no problem. Wherever it was completely closed, they had this particular issue that people were having either miscarriages, or education was a problem, knowledge was not coming into the house. All these things were happening. So when I further went and looked at the entire property, some interesting fact came to me. This property, now I was in the 5th floor, but this whole property was surrounded by huge trees. The trees were so big that they were encompassing the entire building. In fact, from the terrace, the trees were much higher than the terrace. I was on the 5th floor. So that is the time I realized that how, and this guy's house that a passage was half open to the sky, not to the sky, but open. So these trees were holding that energy in place. So I was very much keenly interested as to now I could find an answer. Yes, now I can see that, okay, this energy is being retained because of this. But one more class I did where in Pedder Road, and I was using all these kinds of cures. So I met this lady and she wanted, sorry, she was divorced and she was going around with somebody. She wanted to get married to that person. So with my knowledge of this black hat feng shui, in the southwest you put yellow color and some yellow flowers and some mandarin ducks and all the stuff which we did, I told her to do that. And I met her after 3 months and she says, I have come out of that relationship. That is the time I felt that there was something amiss in my knowledge of feng shui. This is not the right knowledge, because we were trying to cement that relationship by completing whatever was missing in that house by using these cures. And here she came out of the existing relationships. That's in that day night, I went to the internet and I searched and I landed up on my master's site. It is called the Yap Cheng Hai Institute Academy. He's a Malaysian Chinese. Of course, my master is no more now. I lost him last year. I had great fortune. He visited us in my house. And he was one of the most amazing feng shui masters in the world at that point of time. So I studied with him. I have gone to Malaysia, I have gone to Singapore, and I have studied under him. And that's when I studied whatever he taught me. It was a 10-day workshop and it was too heavy for me at that point of time. So I'm going to share some part of that with you all. But he's my grandmaster. So my journey of traditional feng shui began like this. Okay, now there are so there is what in traditional feng shui, what we do is we understand the external form. Just like how we went into that property and I looked at the entire property. What is the external form of that? What are the external forms? What are the things around that place? We also study the earth energy as affected from the astrologically. So there is some part of this thing where it is astrologically also. And what we finally assess is the quality of chi. Chi, nothing but energy. Okay. So this is what we study in classical feng shui. Oh my God. Again, this. So if I give you a choice to go to Simla or Manali, what will you choose? Unmute and tell me.
Manali.
Manali. Okay. What about others?
Simla.
Manali. If you're listening to what people are talking, you will find that there is a majority who would like to go to Manali and not to Simla. Any answer? Anyone knows why? Have people gone to Simla and Manali?
Yes, I have gone.
Okay. What was your experience with Simla and what was your experience with Manali? Can you tell me?
Simla is very commercial.
Okay. Congested, cluttered. What about Manali?
Manali's few spots are really serene.
Okay. Did you feel like coming back home from Manali? I think some people going to Manali will want to stay there ever.
Not at all.
Okay. So the reason is that Simla is highly cluttered. Okay. Not that Simla is a bad place, but it is highly cluttered. And Manali it has certain formations. We'll talk about that when I talk about the 5 animal principle. I will explain you what the 5 animal principle and why energy in Manali is so amazing. Okay. So our environment has an impact on us. That's what I'm trying to bring about. So there is a compass school where there are two schools. One is the 8 mansions where we talk about the direction and the location. And when we add time dimension to feng shui, that's when the flying star schools comes into play. Now, originally, feng shui was designed for only yin houses. Yin houses means graveyards. And Chinese people actually pay premium to get a proper land and to get sometimes they buy it even before they die. The spot is very, very important for them. But nobody practices this. Currently, only the Chinese people practice it. The Yang house Feng Shui came much later into play. So I'm not going to talk. I'm not studied Yin house Feng Shui. I've only studied 8 mansions and flying stars and the other parts of that. So let me talk about 8 mansions. How many people have gone to the site and I told you that we are going to talk something about the Qua number? Anyone has done that? They tried doing that?
Yeah, I
I
did
got
it, yeah.
4.
Okay,
I got
excellent.
4.
Okay, excellent. So we'll talk about that right now. So according to this school, depending on your birth date and birth year, we calculate what is called the Gua number or the Qua number. Now this is calculated to get 4 auspicious and 4 inauspicious directions. So there is something called an East group people and there is something called the West group people. What is important in this school is the entrance, the direction in which how you enter the house and the location of your main door. Now the main door is the most important simply because what is the most important part in your body is your mouth. Whatever you eat is shown up on your body, isn't it? So for a Feng Shui consultant or a Vastu consultant, these properties are like our body. They are live and alive. It's not a dead property like y'all can. It is not an inanimate thing. So that is why it is called also the entrance of the house is also called the chi mouth, which is most important. What is the energy entering into the house? That is important. So first thing you have to take care is what is my entrance direction. Then we look at the entrance location. Then we look at where the bedrooms are located. We look at in what direction they are sleeping. Then we look at the kitchen and the fire. Fire mouth is nothing but your stove ka jo knobs rehta hai na, that is what the fire mouth. In the olden times, we had this mitti ka chula. So where does it point? That was considered as an important aspect. And finally, the toilets. So we'll go a little bit more deeper. We'll first calculate the Qua numbers. So as I said that there are 4 auspicious directions and 4 inauspicious directions. And there is a gradation for that. Sheng Qi is called the best Qi. Sheng is good energy. And Qi is energy, as I told you. Forget about the Chinese name. You simply remember that as plus 90, plus 80, plus 70, plus 60. Okay. Plus 90 is the best direction. It will give you super success in your life. Okay. Baithe baithe aaram se milega. But according to me, it's a very dangerous thing to do because baithe baithe jo aadmi ko milta hai na wo bada arrogant ho jata hai because he gets success very easily. Of course, it's an overall good direction, so you can tap it as much as possible. I wouldn't give everything now. If you ask me, can I tap all plus 90s for everybody? I wouldn't advise that. Okay. Then the plus 80 is the health and career aspects. If you can tap this particular direction of yours or the location, then it will help you in being healthy and your professional life. Plus 70 governs relationships and plus 60 is about peace of mind. Similarly, the minus 90 is your worst direction. Okay, you will lose everything because of this particular direction. It's a very bad direction. A minus 80 will govern your health and career in the negative ways. A minus 70 relationships in your negative ways, and plus minus 60 peace of mind. So this is the way. So remember, plus 90, plus 80, plus 70, plus 60. The best direction, health, career, plus 80, plus 70 is your relationships, and plus 60 is your peace of mind. In the negative, it is the exactly opposite. So how do I calculate your Qua number? I would recommend that you all go to the link. I will share the link with you all. It's simpler to go and just calculate because there are some technical calculations inside of that. But I will give you a general idea how to calculate for a male. Okay, if you're a male, and let's say your birth date is 24th of November 1958. So you take the last 2 years digit of the 2 year digits. This is what the problem with Zoom is. Sometimes the mode doesn't function. So 5 plus 8 is 13. Okay, bring it down to 6 single digit, which is 4. Okay. 10 minus 4 is equal to 6. Now why 10? Don't ask me that. My master taught me this is how you calculate your Qua number. So 6 is your Qua number for a male who is born on 24th 11/1958. So my Qua number is 6 because that's my birth date. Okay, calculation for a female. Let's say the birth date is 14/01/1961. Okay. Now remember, Chinese New Year starts on 4th of February. So anything before 4th of February, you can't take the same year. You have to take 1 year before. So here I'm going to take 1960. So 6 plus 0 is equal to 6. For females, you add 5. So it is 11. 11th ka single digit is 2. So that's why the female born on 14/01/1961 will have qua number 2. This is how you calculate qua numbers for a male and female. So that's why.
Raju, can you repeat that thing about the Chinese year?
Yeah, Chinese. Chinese year starts on 4th of February. That's the starting day. अपना कैसा Indian calendar है वैसा Chinese calendar भी है ना? Our Indian calendar is different from. It doesn't start on 1st of January, right? It starts somewhere else. So similarly, the Chinese calendar starts on 4th of February. Okay. So if your birth date is anything before from 1st of January till 4th of February, 1961 becomes 60. When you are calculating your qua number, you have to take 1 year because according to the Chinese, it is 1 year prior, right?
Okay.
Okay. So yes, some calculations are a little technical, so everybody may not remember that.
Raju, that is only for females, or
that is no for males also. For males also. Even for males, if they are born before 4th of February, then you have to take 1 year. So it is simpler. These qua calculators are available free of cost. So you can just go and take the link. I'll just share that link. This is the link. I'll share it in the chat box so that you can use that. Okay. I'll just share it in the chat box. So just go and calculate your qua number. You will get your auspicious and inauspicious directions. Now, obviously, when you're talking of people born on 2000, it is -9 and add 6. For people born after 2000. That's why I said that it's a little more technical. You may not remember it. But here are you can take a screenshot of this. Anyone? Or if you go to the site, and Feng Shui calculators are available, qua calculators. So if you are qua number 1, then your best direction is southeast. Your health direction is east. Your relationship direction is south. Your south, and your peace of mind direction is north. Similarly, it is for qua 3, qua 4, qua 9. Anyone can take a screenshot if they are interested in it. They can take a screenshot. These are the East group people. For each group, East will be the good direction. So South, North, South, East, and Southeast are good directions for each group people. 1, 3, 4, and 9 are East group people. Qua number 1, qua number 3, qua number 4, qua number 9 are, and obviously the Western directions, the Southwest, the Northeast, Northwest, and West are not so good, inauspicious directions for each group people. If you are qua number 2, 6, 7, or 8, then if you are qua number 2, Northeast is your best direction. West is what governs your health and career. Northwest is what governs your relationship, and Southwest is what governs your peace of mind. And similarly for qua number 6, qua number 7, qua number 8. If you have any questions, you can always stop me and ask me, right?
Can you go back to that earlier slide and allow us to take a screenshot on what is the meaning of Sheng, Qi, Tin, Yi, Nin, Yang, Hu, Wei? Okay, one second. So this is what I'm saying, that when I go into my, so I will just keep on this is okay, right? I don't use so Sheng Qi is your best direction. Forget the Chinese name, you will get more confused. Remember it as plus 90, plus 80, plus 70, plus 60. It will become very simple for you. Sheng Qi is your best, plus 90 is your best direction. सब कुछ आराम से होएगा आपको, आराम से बैठे बैठे मिलेगा आपको. Plus 80 is what governs your health and career. So professional health part is taken care by your plus 80. Plus 70 governs all your relationships. So whether it is marriage or whether your relationships with any other people is what it governs. And plus 60 governs your peace of mind. Minus 90 is your worst direction. Minus 80 governs your health in the negative way. Minus 70 relationships in a negative way. And peace of mind is minus 60. Does that answer your question, sir? Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
So you all can take the screenshot. Yes.
Sir, also explain about the East and West group also, sir.
So
Numbers.
when your core number is 1, 3, 4, and 9, then you are an East group person. Whenever your core number is 1, 3, 4, and 9, you will have one core number. You can't change.
Yeah,
Right?
we have shared the link on the group. You can those who want to take their own test can take it. It takes just 1 minute.
Yeah, it will just you have to add your birth date. That's all.
That's it, and you will get it.
Yeah, and you'll get what your core number is. So if it happens that you are a core number 1 or 3 or 4 or 9, that means you're an East group person. The East, Southeast, East, South, and North are your good directions. Does it answer your question, sir? Similarly, if your core number is 2, 6, 7, and 8, then you're a West group person. Can I go ahead? Or
Yeah, but
people
then
are doing the
what-
test?
What does this mean?
I'll just share that with you. I'll just share that with you. What does it mean? Okay. I'm giving you two stories now. How your door direction and location makes a big difference. Okay. Remember, the 8-mansion school talks about direction and location. Direction and location are two different things. So I'll give you two stories about what happens when there is when in the East group person staying in a West group house. So this is a story about a famous Indian cricketer. I'm not going to name the person. Okay. Now he is a West group person. He was staying in an East group house. He got married. He got divorced. In a couple of years, he got divorced. After he was divorced, incidentally, what happened in India, if you look at, there are two wings, right? Opposite, normally, आमने सामने घर रहते हैं. So if you look at one side, if it is an East group, then the opposite side will typically be a West group. So what happened is that this person, he took a house on the opposite wing in the same building, okay, which was now a West group house. Also, he bought a plot somewhere in about 100 kilometers from Bombay. And I happened to visit that particular plot, and that was in his plus 90. And he used to spend a lot of time. Interestingly, that plot was such that it was, uske samne was a huge lake. And in Feng Shui, you must have water in front of your house. Very, very important. It brings a lot of prosperity inside the house. The moment he started staying into the West group houses, typically, everything started falling in line for him. He got married second time. फिर बाद में क्रिकेट कम हो गया उसका, लेकिन पैसा आते रहे. Even now he gets money out of that whole this thing. Second example is my client. I'll share that story, which is very, very important. Okay. Then you'll understand what is location and what is direction. So typically, when you look at a house should be typically a square or a rectangle. So this particular guy's house, the door was in this particular sector. So as I said, that when you add time dimension to Feng Shui, after I studied, there was a particular period when the period changes. I redid that particular client's house, because every period we do the same house again because the energy changes. And I found that if he creates a door in this particular sector, he will benefit a lot. There will be some money. And this guy was struggling very badly. Matlab, mahine ka even getting money was really difficult for him. 10-15 हजार रुपया भी कमाने के लिए it was difficult, and he was going through a bad phase in his life. So I said that I want you to create a door over here. बोला पागल है क्या, मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, एक दरवाजा बनाने का मतलब I'll have to spend at least 20-25,000 because I have to break the door, break the wall, everything has to be done. I said, I don't care, you bloody do anything, कुछ करो, लूटो, कुछ भी करो, मेरे को नहीं मालूम. And he's a very close person. So उसका घर पे we created a door on the second the second arrow. We created a new door for that guy. And overnight we created the door, because he did not even take the permission of the society and everything like that, but he believed in me 100%. And after a couple of months, he called me up and he started giving me both, he started giving me all bad words. अरे क्या तू इतना पैसा खर्चा किया, कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. I said, nothing, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है, कुछ ना कुछ तो. Then he started slowly talking. Interestingly, after about 10-15 minutes, he told me कि अरे तेरे को एक बात मैं बोलना भूल गया कि मैंने 10 साल पहले मुलुंड में एक जगह में कैश पैसा दिया था एक बिल्डर को. ओ इट वाज ऑलमोस्ट गॉन, दैट मनी हैज गॉन. मैंने सोचना बंद कर दिया था उसके बारे में. उसका फोन आया था उसने, और उसने मेरे को बोला कि तुम चेक दो और कैश लेके जाओ. एंड इन अबाउट 3 months टाइम that this particular client of mine signed up a property deal with that builder. पैसा आया नहीं आया. Are you understanding the importance of direction? The first story is about direction, how the door is placed, and the second was the location of the door. This is how you can utilize direction and location in 8 mansions. Okay. So I'm going to share more stories. So when we add time dimension to Feng Shui, every property has a time period. Each property has a time frame in which that property changes its behavior. The best example, if people are from Bombay, I can give you, is Mani's restaurant at Ruya. For almost 40 years, that person raked in his business. Because there is a formula called 5 ghosts carry treasure. Now Chinese have this esoteric and very fantastic names, some incoming dragons and 5 ghosts carry treasures and all that stuff. So I studied this particular property, and that 5 ghost formula perfectly fitted with Mani's Ruya College. The moment the period ended, the owner of that property made a complaint against this particular restaurant because it was becoming too much. The people were sitting outside and eating all that stuff. Overnight, that business came to a standstill. Why? Because the property, the time dimension, the time dimension when we add, the property changes its behavior over a certain period of time. So Flying Star's chart is used to study the property from the time dimension. We are not going to go. This is very, very complicated. Very, very confusing. I'll just skim through it so that you understand. Tomorrow, if somebody comes and tells you, you should know what is authentic Feng Shui. Okay. We need the exact degrees. There is a particular compass called the Lopan. If the Feng Shui consultant comes without a Lopan, then he is not practicing Feng Shui. Lopan is his tool. Okay. It's a compass where all the formulas are in that compass. So the moment he puts the compass to your door, he will know what is, if he studies the surroundings, he will know exactly how to use that those formulas. Okay. So in Flying Stars, 1, 6, 8, 9 are considered generally as good stars. 2 and 5 are considered as sickness stars. 3 is a communication stars. So 4 is star for romance and learning. Also for movement, and 7 is a robbery star. So this is how we study. I will show you how some combinations and things like that, just for your information. Okay, this is how a Flying Star chart looks like. I'm not going to go too much in detail, but for you to understand what is Flying Stars, this is called the facing star. This is called the sitting star. And this is called the period star. So this is how you interpret the property. So what is important is that you can study the time dimension for the period. Period is for 20 years. Then you can study for that particular year also, for that month, and you can plot the charts for hourly basis also. So it can become that complicated. That's why I'm not going too much into details. But every year, one important thing that you should remember is, now this is the yearly chart for Flying Stars for 2021. Wherever 5 comes in that chart, these charts are available on your online this thing. Every year people will put up these charts. You don't have to worry, you don't have to go to a Feng Shui consultant. Remember, wherever that, now here it is in the southeast sector. Can you see? 5 is the southeast sector. 5 is considered as the most powerful star, but the most deadly star. You have to handle carefully. So no breaking, no digging, no kind of construction work should start in your southeast sector. Every year, wherever the annual yellow, 5 yellow, it is called the 5 yellows. ये बात याद रखो. every year, wherever the 5 wheelers, you don't start your work. If you have to do construction, don't start it from this place. Okay. So let us look at some Feng Shui principles. Before we can go to the Feng Shui principles, I think so Litesh wanted to make a announcement. So I'm going to break for about a couple of minutes. Litesh.
I think you continue, Raju, because Litesh. Litesh, you're on mute. Litesh, you're on mute.
Litesh, you're on mute. Again, he's gone on mute.
Yeah, Litesh, you're on mute. Raju, you continue.
Okay.
Yeah, I think instead of taking a break, we'll make that announcement some other time. Sorry for
Okay, okay, no problem. I have no problem. Okay. So let us continue. I'm going to now talk about the principles of Feng Shui. These are the foundation of Feng Shui. And we'll make this part very interesting. You'll enjoy this part. Abhi tak to zyada technical tha, so some of you must have understood. Some of them, some of the especially flying stars and all would not make any sense to you right now. But it is important for you to understand, because there are today many people who talk about I am a Vastu consultant and a Feng Shui consultant. Aisa hota nahi hai. So first principle, you have seen this figure. I think so everybody knows what this figure is, right?
Yes.
What is it? What is it?
Yin to the yang.
Yin yang principle. आपको ये figure दिखेगा, but this is such a potent figure because everything can be represented into this symbol. It is not even a symbol. I can't even call it a symbol. But for conversation purpose, let us call it a symbol. It is nothing but the black part is the night. The white part is the day. So it simply means, if you really look at the whole figure together, that it's talking about life. Let's say the good part of your life is the white and the bad part of your life is the black. But you notice that in the white, there is a black dot, and inside the black, there is a white dot. So what it is telling you, that when you are in the peak of your life, there is always a danger of falling down. And whenever you are at the base of your life, abyss of your life, which is the bottom, there is always a ray of hope. This is what the principle is talking about. And it's a real powerful principle. So can you tell me, we have been trained into this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong, isn't it? So we have been trained into the yin and the yang. So can you give me examples of yin and yang that you know? Just unmute and shout out.
So suppose if there is something like, in business, you have faced some losses. So, or in career wise also, if you are going through some downturn. So if right
profit
now,
and loss. Profit is your yang and loss is your yin. Excellent.
Yeah. So if I am in the loss side of business right now, I need to isse, when you have that thinking and mindset ki isse zyada niche nahi jayega, that is my ray of hope. And
correct.
Similarly, if I am in my profit of the season and something like suddenly the recession steps up, so
correct.
These are uncertainties in my life which will always occur. So that is
absolutely.
the good, bad, and the good thing.
The good and the bad. The good and bad. So somebody else, can you tell me what do you know as a yin and yang?
Bull and a bear market. Bull and a bear market.
Bull and bear market. Okay, excellent. What else?
Bright
और
and dark.
maybe
Bright and dark. Okay, great.
और मे भी रात को घर पे रहो, दिन में बाहर जाओ.
Okay, घर पे रहो, दिन में बाहर जाओ. Okay. So if you really look at good, bad, sour, sweet, man, woman, strong, weak, everything is nothing but yin and yang. So everything in life can be explained in this particular principle. Good, bad. We'll come to weak and strong a little later. Okay, remember, yang is considered as strong and yin is considered as weak, isn't it? Okay.
But why women is on the weaker side and man is on the...
Okay. That is how it has been. You have been trained, right?
गलत है.
Isn't it? गलत है, no? So I'll give you an example. We'll come to that when we do the 5 element theory. That myth will be broken. Why it is not true. Okay. Now another powerful principle is the 5 animal principle. The 5 animals are black tortoise, white tiger, red phoenix, and green dragon. And in the center, it is called the snake, okay? The yellow snake. So these are the 5 principles, the 5 animal principle. Now I will come back to my example of Manali. Why Manali is so good? Because it has a natural formation. These 5 animals are naturally, if you have gone to Manali, this is where Manali is situated. This is where the black tortoise, this is Nathula Pass, 15,000 feet high. If you can see on the left hand side, there is this range of mountain which extends further down beyond Manali, and it is an embracing mountain. The green dragon must be embracing. Can you see the embrace on the left hand side? That will be on the right hand side. The green dragon, I have pointed it out. Okay, the mountains which are there. There is a white tiger, and this Bias river flows right through Manali. So water is there, and there is a tabletop mountain which you can't see in this. So this classic 5 animal principle is naturally, Manali is located right in the center of it, and that's why you feel so good when you reach Manali. Okay, I'll give you other examples of 5 animal principle. A chair is a classic example of 5 animal principle. The back is nothing but the tortoise. The 2 sides are their green dragon and the white tiger. When you sit on the chair, don't you feel comfortable?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
If I remove one of the two things, if I remove the green dragon, if I remove the black tortoise, will you feel comfortable on the chair?
No.
Oh? Have you all seen a baby sleeping? Can you see the black tortoise and the green dragon and the white tiger? Can you mute? Somebody is unmuted right now. The pillows that are the 3 pillows which are there, and you normally keep a dangling toy on top, which is the red phoenix. Try removing any one of them when the baby is asleep. It will come out of its slumber very fast. Okay. Why do you think king's throne are designed with this particular principle in mind? You take any king's throne, you can see the green dragon, the white tiger, the black tortoise, and there is a small table in front of him to keep his legs. That is the red phoenix. And that's why the king, you look at him and you'll see, of course, the placement of the king's throne in the room is also equally important. So it will be placed in where he can control the whole. In a room, have you ever gone to a room where there is a horseshoe sitting? And when the presenter is standing in between the horseshoe and he gives the presentation, don't you find him in complete control? That's how the king's throne is kept. So these are the practical examples of the 5 animal principle. Okay. So this gets stuck sometimes. Okay, this presentation mode in Zoom sometimes gets stuck. 1 second, I am unable to retrieve that. I have to figure out how to do this. Okay, so now let us talk about the 5 element principle. Like we have Panchamahabhutas. Like we have the Panchamahabhutas, we have 5 elements. Now the elements are water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. Now don't take the literal form of this. This is nothing but a phase of energy. While we can relate it to wood, wind, fire, and so the 5 element principle is the very foundation of Feng Shui. So let us take an example of what does water do to wood? Does it grow wood?
Yes.
So there are some universal cycles. So this I'm trying to explain you the productive cycle. So water produces wood. Does wood produce fire?
Yeah.
Fire produces earth.
Yes. Ash.
Earth produces metal.
Yes.
And metal produces water.
Correct.
Okay. So metals are also, rock is also considered as metal. So ore comes from the rocks, right? If you notice that why there is water and fire are the two main elements actually. And water is an life giver and fire is a purifier. It purifies the energy everywhere. That's why you do homes and all. जो home havan karte is because you want to purify the energy in the house. Water is why there is no life in desert, because below there is no water. Wherever you find water, you will find life over there. Life giver hai wo. Okay. So if we take the productive cycle, water produces wood.
Raju, we can't see the slide.
You can't see the slide?
No, we can only see.
Water also dampens the wood.
Water, one second.
Dampens the wood, and then the wood will not catch fire.
That is now the details of, we are going into the details of, where is my sharing kidhar gaya?
Sir, I have a question.
One second. Just let me get the slide back on. Yeah. Everyone can see the slide or no?
No.
This is my slide one. Okay, I'm going to show you like this only. I'm not going to show you. So what is our question? When you go a little deeper, then that aspect will come. If there is a little wood, so as I told you that these are phases of energy. Don't take it by the literal meaning of wood, water, fire, earth, and metal. This is typically used in the astrological part. Also, the Feng Shui formulas are based on all these 5 elements. Everything in the universe can be represented into these 5 elements. So, what was the question?
Sir, I have a question regarding the havan that you were saying. So, any particular kind of havan that has to be done when you enter a new house?
अपना वो गुरुजी को पूछना चाहिए. In the sense that sometimes you have to do graha shanti. There are different types of havans which they do. So Guruji will be able to tell you which kind of havan is to be done. Okay. Depending on what is there, they will be able to tell you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So productive cycle is,
thank you, sir.
When we go, this is a universal cycle. Water produces wood. Then if I skip one element, let us see what happens when I skip one element. So what does water do to fire?
It douses fire.
Yeah, it douses fire. What does fire do to metal? It melts metal.
Yes. Rust
what does metal do to wood? It will chop wood.
Yes.
Wood controls the earth and earth controls water. When we skip one element, that is called the control cycle. If I want to control fire, then I use water. If I want to control metal element, then I will use fire to control that metal. This is how it is interpreted. And there is a weakening cycle. Because water produces wood, wood will weaken water. If I go the reverse way, then it is a weakening cycle. So water weakens metal, metal weakens earth, earth weakens fire. So if you have to douse fire, you can also use earth, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the 3 cycles are clear. The productive cycle, the control cycle, and the weakening cycle. Now let us add the yin and yang principle on the cycle. So there is a yin water and there is we'll take only 2 elements, the fire and the water. There is yin water and yang water. There is also yin fire and yang fire. For conversation purpose, we'll only use these 2 elements. Can you all give me examples of yin water? I'll give you examples of yin water. When a river is on the plains, if you go to Ganga river, many times it will flow on the plain. It is very slow moving, very smooth moving, meandering river. Okay, that is an example of yin water. The mist cloud that we have is an example of yin water. Water vapor or steam is another example of yin water. Let's take examples of yang water. Rough sea, especially when it is storms and things like that. Oceans are huge bodies of water, so they are considered as yang water. River at the mountain base, the white waters, or when it is right at the mountain base, it is moving at a great pace and it is very rough. That is why it is an example of yang water. Extreme heavy rains is also an example of yang water. Similarly, we have yin fire, which is candle, a small diya, or embers. And yang fire, roaring fire, or forest fires. The sun can be the most biggest example of yang fire. Is this clear? Yin water, yang water, yin fire, yang fire.
The only question is why sun? I know if we are close to the sun, then we are dead. But otherwise, sun is auspicious.
Yeah, sun is auspicious. So I do get that. But now the question here is that now we are imposing the yin and yang over the 5 element principle. So if you want to control yang fire, question to all of you, what water will you use? Yin water or yang water?
Yin.
Yang.
We'll use yin water.
Huh?
Yin water.
Yin water?
Yes,
Excellent.
yin water.
Why yin water? Why not yang water?
Because strong can be diluted with a weak portion.
Oh, no. Okay. Some kind. The answer is correct, but not the real example. So if you want to control the sun.
Clouds.
Absolutely. So if you want to control the sun, do you think the oceans have any impact on the sun? Or the river, which is so fast moving at the mountain base, have no control over the sun. But a simple mist cloud coming in front of the sun has absolutely no power. Now you all will understand why I keep on telling that these are phases of energy. The yin is as strong as the yang. So it is not that women are weak. If you really look at women are 10 times more stronger than men. But we have been programmed into the right and wrong, good and bad, the man and woman. That's how we have been programmed, which is the Advait. The two, the separation. If you look at the yin and yang, it comes from one. The yin and yang is one. Okay. So I'm not going to take too much detail. As I said, it's not important to go into that. Is it now clear that yin is not weak? That yin can be as strong as the yang?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let us look at one more principle, the TND REN, okay, which is the Cosmic Trinity. And this is important for you all to understand. It is called heaven luck, earth luck, and man luck. Everyone comes with these lucks. Okay, all 3 lucks. Now, heaven luck is based on your past karmas. So for you to become a Dhirubhai Ambani or an Amitabh Bachchan or a Sachin Tendulkar, you require a certain heaven luck. Everybody cannot become that. It is based on your past plus and minus of your past karmas. Just like Indians, Chinese believe in the past karma. They believe in the karma theory. So heaven luck is not in your control, but you get a certain amount of heaven luck when you are born. Earth luck is where your Feng Shui and Vastu come into play. So this can be changed a little bit. However, what is important for you is man luck. Man luck is how am I living now? What are my actions now? What are my karmas now? आपको बचपन से सिखाया गया है कि अच्छे कर्म करो, फल अच्छा मिलेगा. Am I right or wrong? Okay, man luck is talking about that karma. Why do you live a life which is, it doesn't hurt other people? You should not do wrong deeds. Is because of this. So I have an experience of, God has been very kind. When he gave me theory, he also gave me a practical experience. I had a client of mine in Bombay. So he himself was a great astrologer. Nariman Point mein office, 5,000 square feet ka office. He was sitting alone. Baroda mein 2 factory, dono ban. I'm talking of a person who had chartered flights in 1960s में flights charter करके Bombay से Delhi public को लेके गया है. So he comes from very wealthy family. Okay. And because I was into practicing of these things, I also took his heaven chart and I found out that his heaven luck was very similar to Dhirubhai Ambani. 19-20 का फर्क. So technically he should have been sitting next to Dhirubhai Ambani, isn't it? If the heaven luck was so good. Earth luck was manageable, a little bit of changes here and there we would have been able to deal with it. But what I realized that this man was a gutter when he opened his mouth. Literally gutter, मतलब वो कभी सीधा किसी से बात नहीं किया. No wonder he was sitting in a 5,000 square feet office, sitting alone. 2 factories in Baroda closed. The point here, what I'm trying to make is that you may have the best of the heaven luck, you may have great earth luck, but if your man luck is horrible, you are going to kill that luck that you bring. These 2 lucks, the heaven luck and the earth luck, can be activated only through your man luck. And that's why our old people used to tell us ki achhe karm karo. Are you getting the point?
Yeah.
Okay. So there is another topic called chi distribution, which is actually the main crux of it, but I'm not going to talk. It is a very, very complex topic to talk about. But a Feng Shui custom expert will study the distribution of the chi in the property and then give you corrective measures. Let me tell you, the houses that I have done, if you go to the houses, you will not know that it has been Feng Shui. I don't give any cure other than one cure, which is called the salt water cure. Okay, to deal with the fires every year. So typically, let us look at now some examples. A house which is a square or a rectangle is considered as an ideal house. Wherever there are extensions and cuts, it is not a good thing. It is like cutting one leg of yours, one hand of yours. It is as bad as that. Now, depending on where the cuts and the extensions are, it is going to impact your house. So remember, when you are going to look for a house, try to see if it is a square house or a rectangle house. Mile wala nahi hai itna. Olden times, they used to make this kind of houses. Now they are crazy. Now the construction houses are very, very crazy. Okay. So we have to understand how to read a house. So you can see door facing. Can you all see the word door facing over here at the bottom of the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, if you want to see what is the house facing, you have to stand inside the house, inside the door. Keep a compass at the door. Now, every phone will have a compass now. Okay, you can't tell me, मेरे को east दिखता है, sunrise दिखता है, तो that is not done. A good Feng Shui consultant will not buy that. He will come with his lopan and take the degree, because we measure it into 0.5 degrees. That is the accuracy that we need. So वो आपका general knowledge से, हाँ मेरे को घर में से बाहर जाता हूँ तो मेरे को sun दिखता है, sunrise is from the front, so it is east facing. So whenever you are standing inside the house, take a compass and look at what is the direction that you can see straight ahead. That is called the door facing. So when you are walking out of the house, if you are walking towards the east, then that is an east facing house. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, it is called head pointing. What direction the head points is important. The right hand side corner, the arrow pointing towards the north. Now, if that is the north, okay, then the head pointing is north. Whatever direction is behind your head when you are sleeping is called the head pointing. And same is the fire mouth. In the kitchen, आपके जो knobs कौन से direction में point करते हैं, that is called the fire mouth pointing. These 3 things are important for you to remember.
Can you repeat these last 2 points, head pointing and fire mouth pointing?
Yeah. You got door facing, stand inside the house,
Yes,
and whatever direction is straight ahead is the door facing. Head pointing is whatever direction your head points to. When you are sleeping, what is behind your head? Not where you are pointing your legs. Okay. It is your head.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. And fire mouth is when wherever your knobs are pointing. That is the fire mouth pointing.
Right. Thank you.
So one question, and which is the perfect direction for fire pointing and head pointing? I mean, the ideal direction.
That depends on your core number, isn't it?
Okay.
So importance of location and direction. I told you one story about what is location. Now, if you really look at on the left hand ground, the house entrance here is facing the west, but it is located in the northwest direction. Location is northwest, facing the west. Is this clear? If
Sir,
you
can you
stand
please repeat?
inside, yeah, this door, जो blue arrow hai, that is the main door of this house. Just behind the blue arrow. So this door is facing the west. आपको west दिखता है सामने. The W, that is the sector. But it is located in the northwest sector of the house.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, got it? This is very important for you all to understand what is direction and what is location. So everything is not direction. The location plays 80% of the role, direction 20%. This is my experience with Feng Shui. Okay. Now, when you are, how do you identify that? That is a little complicated. So I'm not going to go too much into details because it will completely confuse you. And I'm just showing this so that tomorrow when somebody comes and does Feng Shui of your house, you will know whether he is doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Now I'm going to add the flying star just to show you how does it look like. Now here, can somebody tell me what is the house entrance facing and where is it located? Just look at it.
I think
House
location is
entrance
northeast.
facing would be west.
No, it's not facing the west.
Facing north.
Is it facing north? No.
No.
Southwest. Northeast.
Okay, so we said northwest. Northwest. It is facing the northwest and is located in the north sector of the house. Can you get it now?
Yes.
Now for this, let us say the husband is square 6, wife is square 3, child is square 2. Now for each sector, I am going to place what is there plus 90, plus 80, plus whatever comes for that particular sector. Depending on their cause, I will identify and I'll write it down on the chart. This becomes easy for me to read. And then I superimpose the flying star for that particular period. The 3 numbers that you can see in each sector. And that's how I'll read a traditional chart for Feng Shui. Then I will tell you whether this is good for you, ye karo, how will you place your fire mouth, how will you sleep. Sometimes it might come in an angle. It may not be as straight as that, because that depends on the house orientation. Is it clear now? The 3 levels of Feng Shui, one is direction, one is location, and then the time aspect. The 3 layers I have shown you. Okay, now I'm going to share a few examples of what happens and when we go a good Feng Shui consultant when he comes. So I went to a house, and this was when I was studying Black Hat. So I went into the house, and there were two paintings. One was a very sad woman, and one was a very happy woman. And I asked that lady when she came and met me, I said, do you have 2 daughters? One is happy and one is sad. She was shocked. Now tell me, just by looking at the painting, how can you tell that there are 2 daughters? Can you tell me everything that comes inside your house will come with your, there is a certain connection with you have, anything. Can anything come inside your house without your permission? Is it possible? Anything, whether it is a small pin or a drawing or a painting or any damn thing. There is a connection. Okay. So this is one thing, how you can, now I'm not telling you that you can start reading houses the moment you finish this. I'm just giving you the idea how you can identify who's good at Feng Shui or not. So once I went to one particular chartered accountant's house in the other area, and when I put all the direction, the locations, and the chart, the flying star chart, I was very clear that somebody is having an affair in that house. Now, this was a very early stage of my career, and I was very uncomfortable as to how do I ask that whether there is, I was 100% sure somebody was having an affair in that house, because by the orientation. So I asked them, who's getting married inside the house? And that lady looked at me and said, how did you know? I said, your flying charts are, your chart is telling me. The house can never lie. People will tell you lies, but the house will not tell a lie. If a person knows how to utilize this science and he knows the art of Feng Shui, he'll be able to read your house like very easily. Okay. Now I'm just giving you examples of it. It took me so many years of hard work and to bring this to. I have treated addiction with one person. Addictions can be different. This particular person had too much of fire in that person's life. Fire means addiction. Okay. It can be water addiction. When people are addicted, if there is excessive water, they might be drinking. So it depends on that. So this particular person was smoking brown sugar. And then I told them that, why don't you move northward? So now excessive fire, how do I deal with that? If you move from the south to the north, then you're moving towards the water. Because north mein water hai, right? North is what? Remember the Loshu? Water, black, red is fire. Okay. And interestingly, they moved from the south of the city to the north of the city first. And then finally, northern hemisphere mein gaye wo log. And when that person moved to the northern hemisphere, fortunately, that person decided to go scuba diving. So that means 3 hours of the day that person was spending inside water. Today, that person is free of that addiction completely. Another example of how shift can happen and how dangerous it can be. So I was given a house. I went to a house in Kolaba. There were 2 brothers. The elder brother the house was not at all good for the elder brother. It was too good for the younger brother. Okay. The elder brother was like matlab चूहे जैसा रहता था वो घर पे, because it was facing his mind. Everything was not good for him. And that family took up a house in Churchgate and they demolished all the internal walls and told me, now you do everything, whatever you want to do over here. And what I did was that in Feng Shui, the father figure is to be taken care of. The eldest person, if the person, the breadwinner is happy, then the family is happy. That is the thing, which is our Indian this thing also. So I gave this from -90. I put this elder brother into a +90. Everything I gave him positive thing. After they moved inside the house, in 2.5 months, the lady called me up and she told me, what have you done to my elder son? He's become so arrogant. He slapped his sister in front of all the relatives in a party. The story that I'm telling you is that the shift from -90 to +90, people cannot stand that. I had to have a counseling session with that. I said, भगवान ने तेरे को अच्छा कर्म करने के लिए दिया है. Don't misuse the energy because it will hit you back. That is why I said that +90 is very dangerous. Sometimes you don't know how to use it. It will make that person extremely arrogant. That is one of the characteristics of +90. So the shift can be given from -90 to say -60, then to +60. ऐसा करके shift कर सकते हो उसको. Because then the person starts getting used to that energy. Sudden shift from -90 to +90, that was my biggest learning in that whole consultation that I did. You can't give people so much of energy shift, which is dangerous. Because tomorrow anything can happen. वो खाली physically, what if he had taken something worse could have happened, isn't it? Okay. -70 to +70 is a better shift. I can talk about, I was staying in Shivaji Park. That house was a -70 for my wife. And currently I'm staying in Ghodbandar Road, which is a +70. I can see the energy change in her face. She's become much more calmer. The stress on her face has reduced. She's become more fair, if I may say, not like in Fair and Lovely, but because of the stress reduction, her face is glowing much more. And she's much more friendlier with people. Changes how it will impact you. I also created a Feng Shui baby. There was a house where this lady had a couple of miscarriages. And when I went, and then they called me to study the house. When I studied the house, I told her that first of all, this will continue. If you continue staying inside this house, this miscarriage part is going to continue. I said, the moment next time you conceive, see to it that you don't stay inside this house till you deliver. And those people did listen to me. That lady was staying in her mother's house, which was much better than the husband's house. The feng shui of that house was much better. Every time she used to come and stay here for 3 to 4 days, there used to be bleeding for her. Fortunately, she stayed most of the part in her mother's house and she delivered a baby over there. That boy is now in 10th. So that is one success story. Another interesting story is of a friend of mine. He stayed in Vapi. Directional wise, it was worst. When I went and studied the house, I was wondering how this man succeeded staying in this, and he stayed in that house for a very, very long time. And what I found out that what was missing from the location and direction was compensated by the time dimension of feng shui. So this was a very interesting case for me, where location direction was not all that good, but time dimension was very good. So it can also happen that even in spite, so there is no ideal house. You can't have an ideal house. Life will come with its pluses and minuses. Okay. And one last example, I would say, there was two sisters. One was, the younger one was much brighter. The elder one was a little subdued. That younger one went to London. So after that, that elder sister, she did 2 years of engineering, and then she finally decided, "Nahi yaar, engineering is not something that I want to do. I want to go to London." But the house property, then they called me and I studied the property. First of all, I told them to change the kitchen. Now, kitchen change is a massive, massive change. It is very difficult for anyone to enroll the lady of the house to change the kitchen. But I said that if you want result, you will have to do. Fortunately, they had an extra room in that house. So I said, if you don't want to physically change the kitchen, that's completely okay. Do your cooking, have a temporary stove. We made a stand which had wheels on that. So all the cooking used to happen in that the extra room. And then she used to take back the stove and the cylinder and put it back in the old place. That's how temporary changes in that kitchen were made. So all the fire that was happening, the fire element, which is the element of the kitchen, was shifted to the new room. No cooking was allowed in that old kitchen, which was the main kitchen. And I told that girl to sleep in the hall in that particular direction, where I tapped the 4-star for her. Now 4-star means education. 4-star also means romance. 4-star also means activity. So I told her, if you're going to sleep here, I am not guaranteeing you, because that time I had not studied the astrological part. So I said that you may get married, you may walk out of the house 10 times in a day, or you might go to London. Anything can happen. In 3 months' time, that lady moved to London. So these were the few examples from my life. There was a question asked that what is the difference between Vastu and Feng Shui? I am not an Vastu expert. So I will not be able to answer that question effectively, but I have studied houses where proper good Vastu consultants have done it. And I studied that from Feng Shui angle. What I can say is that the approaches are very different, but the result would be the same. The result would be the same. So what you can do so if you really understand your core number, what you can simply do is, whenever you are in an important meeting, you want to do something, always face sitting your good direction. You have the phone, you can always check what direction you are facing. When you are sitting for work, you should always face a good direction. Okay, if your existing house is either -90 or -80, the house facing, don't have to worry about that. Don't suddenly say, "Arey, mera vaat lag gaya karke," aisa kuch bhi nahi hai. I gave you an example of that Vapi house, which was a -80 house for him, and yet he became, when he came out of that house after, I think so, 15 years, he stayed inside that house. He was the R&D head of that organization, and it was a big organization. He was working in Pidilite. So don't think that just because you have a -80 house, मेरा सब वाट लग गया, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. Okay. But one simple example I can give you is that if that is the case, then you can rent out the house which is -90, -80, and you can shift into a rented house with a good direction. वो लेकिन करने की तैयारी होनी चाहिए. I have met people who are so adamant, नहीं नहीं मेरा घर में ही रहने का है मेरे को, मैं क्यों rented house में रहूं. Okay. So whenever you are going to buy a house, buy a property, ask a good proper Feng Shui consultant or a Vastu consultant before you buy. Don't give them a choice. They can select something which is good for you. You can try out simple things, but let me tell you, it is complicated. So half knowledge is going to be dangerous. So let's come back to the expectations. More money. I want my girlfriend and wife. Sometimes health and magic. Now tell me, if more money, I could give you all more money, I would have, all the Feng Shui expert would have been the richest people. They should have displaced Jeff Bezos and Microsoft, Bill Gates and all that people. They should have been the richest people in the world, right? Am I right or wrong? If we could give you all more money, why not, with that knowledge, why can't we make more money? So remember, Feng Shui is not about money. It's not about girlfriend, wife, friend, relationships completely. It's not completely about it. What it tells you is bring a balance into your life. How can I use my auspicious part of life or my house and inauspicious? How can I avoid? Thereby bringing balance of life. If you, Feng Shui gives you balance of life. And my master always told me, if you want to give good Feng Shui to people, tap all their +70s, not +90s and not +80s. When I want to recover people from their health issue, I will definitely ask them to sleep in their +80, plus head pointing +80, all that stuff. But if I have to give a house to people, I will give them a +70 house and not a +90 house. Okay. So don't try out, half knowledge can be dangerous. Don't go by just reading books. Call a proper professional. I don't practice this professionally, but if anybody wants some professional advice, I want you to connect with my wife. She can put you on to people. We are connected with people who can give you good, authentic guidance and result proven. So you can note down this number 98694 65895. You can also directly talk to me if you want. Are there any questions? You can ask me any questions.
Like, most of these Feng Shui consultants only give remedies in terms of those horses and dragons and all those things.
Correct.
Your approach is completely different from
Completely
theirs.
different. Yeah, absolutely.
So
I will,
those things works as well, or just the tip of the iceberg actually?
No. I told you, Jagdish, that there was a time when I used to practice that black hat Feng Shui where we give a lot of cures, and the person who was supplying me those cures gave me more commission than my fees in Feng Shui. So that's not a proper approach. It's not something that I would recommend. Definitely not. I told you that those cures will work for you till you believe in them.
And how much time does it take for the person's energy levels to go up? Like once you say, like you change your head to this direction. So typically, what?
Instantly. Okay. If you want to understand the power of this, calculate your core number and sleep for 2 or 3 days in your -80 with your head pointing -80. You will get weird dreams. You will not get sleep. And let me tell you, getting good sleep, there is nothing like, if you can get good sleep, there is nothing like it. If you want to test out, just don't go by what I'm saying. Identify your core number, find out what your -80 is, and sleep with your head pointing in your -80 for 2 or 3 days. And call me up and tell me if you don't get weird, unrelated dreams. Aayenge, guaranteed.
What happens when husband and wife are both having different PAN numbers?
That's ideal, isn't it?
And
that's ideal.
No different PAN numbers.
Yeah.
But normally they sleep in the same direction.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. So that's now you're taking me into the depth of how I used to tell people that it's okay. You can sleep with your head pointing in a different direction once everything is over.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
One second. The question was that what happens when there is a husband in a different core number and a wife is a different core number.
Yes.
Ideally, one should be a West group and one should be an East group. Okay. Not the same core. Same core में बहुत झगड़ा होता है. If you find out people, if they are same core people ना, बहुत ज़्यादा झगड़ा होता है वो family में.
Then me and my wife are of same core.
Doesn't mean that you fight, right? There are so many factors involved. Don't go by. By now, you all understood that it is not so simple science. It is a very complex science. Okay, it's a very complex science. Yeah, somebody was asking a question.
Yes, I have two questions.
Yeah.
One is that you said if we walk into any of the houses where you've done Feng Shui, we will not see any exterior. It is just salt.
Yeah.
You paused at that.
Yeah, so I paused at that because I said that 5 yellows is a yearly it keeps on changing, right? 5 yellows, if you go to the yearly flying stars of the year 2021, right now it is in the southeast sector. So this you can note down. You have to take 1 silver coin and 6 copper coins. 1 silver coin, 6 copper coins, and ये जो जाड़ा मीट मिलता है ना, what do you call that, salt, rock salt. Now it will be proportionate to your house. I can't tell you, but a bucket, maybe 3-4 kgs of salt. Keep the coins below, put salt and put water in that, and keep it in the southeast sector of your house. Southeast sector, located in the southeast sector.
Okay.
That is called the saltwater cure, which will help you deal with the negative 5 yellows, and this keeps on changing every year.
So we have to keep this salt water bucket. For how
in that
long
sector
do we have to keep it?
For 1 year, from 4th of February till the next this thing. That is every year it changes, na? So 2022 it will change again.
Do we change the water or something?
Yeah. That time the whole thing has to be changed. Everything has to be changed. The whole thing has to, because it will absorb all the negativity, right? So you can't use the same cure for the next year. You have to clean, throw the salt, maybe clean the coins with something, and then you can reuse the coins, but not the salt.
But keeping the bucket 1 year exposed, it will become dirty kind of.
It will become, if I show you the photograph which is there in my house, you'll see it becomes dirty. It's going to absorb all the negativity.
Like oh, okay. It will smell also.
No, it doesn't smell.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to keep something below that because sometimes the salt might come up. It depends on the energies inside the house.
Okay.
So that's the only cure that I suggest.
Okay.
Sir, can you give a positive example? Like you said, you sleep in the -80, then you will know, you will have weird dreams.
Okay, sleep in your +60 for 1 week and tell me कि आपको उठाना पड़ेगा. अरे उठो भाई, चलो उठो. You have to go to work. +60 is a very, very lazy kind of energy. It is very soothing. So if let's say if you are now 25 years young, can I give you a house which is a +60 house for you? Will it help you? But if you are a 65-year-old person, I will not give you a +70 house, +80 house. I will rather try to search for your +60s, which is much more soothing for you.
Understood.
Okay. Try sleeping in your +60, and I bet in 1 week people will have to wake you up. You will feel like sleeping more and more and more. It will make you lazy. +60 makes you lazy. So it's like soothing. That's why you will feel that you will become lazy. It doesn't make you lazy, but it's a very soothing energy. Yes, Archana?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that I'm a teacher by profession and everything is happening online.
Yeah.
So which direction should I be facing and which direction should my laptop be to make it happen more effective and, for my kids?
Yes. So when you're teaching, you should face your +70.
Okay.
+70 should be in front of you.
All right.
or even plus 80 will do. Plus 70 will be good because you'll be more friendly with your children.
Thank you.
Compared to your plus 80.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this may be a repetition.
It's okay.
But how do we calculate these plus 70 and plus 80 directions?
Yeah, in the chat box, I've given you a link.
Okay.
Click that link and type your birth date. It will give you your qua number.
Yes.
Depending on your qua number, you'll get 4 auspicious directions and 4 inauspicious directions.
Okay.
And the description is given in that, which is a good direction, which is what does it. So I made it simple by saying it is plus 90, plus 80, plus 70, and plus 60. Plus 90 is an overall good direction. It will aram say everything you'll get. Plus 80 governs your profession as well as your health. Plus 70 governs your relationship, and plus 60 deals with peace of mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I took out the qua numbers.
Yeah.
I am 4, my son is 1, and my husband is 9.
Wow.
So we all belong to the east.
Yeah. So that is good because then you can have one single house. It's easy for you all to live in the same house, right? So that becomes complicated when there are two different, the West group, East group. So that's where the art of Feng Shui comes into play. How do you consult a person when these are all the different permutation combinations in the house? But my experience is that it's the same qua number. That means the husband is 1, the wife is 1, the children are also 1. It creates a lot of problems in that house.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So 1 second. Somebody has typed in something in the chat. Please send the link. Can you? Okay, I'll just resend the link because maybe that person was not there. So
we'll share it in the group as well.
Yeah. Again. So I have, I will share it in the group also. Everyone is in the waiting room. What is this? Everyone in the waiting room. Okay, okay. Can everybody see the link in the chat box?
No.
Why is that? Sure. For everyone in the waiting room. Why am I getting waiting room? Jagdish, can you send it to the general chat? I'm getting everything in the meeting. Everything in the meeting. Okay. Now can you all see?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any other question?
Sir, I have one question.
Sure.
So many people keep tortoise or say yacht on their table. So what does that signify?
Tortoise का मतलब क्या है? Longevity. How many years does a tortoise stay? Kitna? I've seen tortoises which are 400 years old. 400 years old. So it signifies longevity. So if that's what I said, that these objects are you can keep them because when they come into your in your vision, you will get connected to the longevity part of it. Otherwise, it has no significance.
But keeping a live tortoise in your house.
And so what does this
you can keep.
yacht? What does that signify?
So yacht was considered as the older people. First of all, yacht is a sign of prosperity, isn't it? Everybody is going to own a yacht. So all these things you can now generate your own cures if you ask me, whatever that thing represents. So yacht represents prosperity. Only rich people buy yachts, right? They don't buy small, tiny, mini boats. But if you really look at olden times, there were these ships which used to do trading. So there are a lot of, in Black Hat, a ship entering the house is a sign of good career. Are you getting what I'm saying? In the olden times, trading was done through ships, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So ship entering the house, the picture should be ship entering the house. That will give you good this thing, and it should be placed in the career sector. So that is, remember the Loshu I said 1834926. Yes, you were saying something. Yes, you were saying something, right? Ashita, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. I was saying particularly in which direction it has to be. I mean, north, east, or what?
No, as far as Black Hat is considered, location. Black Hat में direction नहीं पकड़ते. Black Hat में whatever is your main door, वो line लेके you complete the square and then divide it into 9 squares. That is what you'll get the location. And then the center one is the north, as I showed you. North, northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, and northwest. That's how it will go. Can I show you the slide once more?
Yes.
So that it is clear for you?
Yes.
So here,
wow, 5.
Core 5, when you become Core 5, the woman become 8 and men become Core 2. There is no Core 5. It is only 2 and 8. So Ashita, this was the door, main door. So you place a line over here and then complete the square around it. So that is what what will give you the location. So 1, 8, 3, 4, 9, 2, 7, 6. So this is the north. Okay, I'll show you this is the north, northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, and northwest. Does it answer your question?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I have one question.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Okay, can I have my question?
Yes, yes, sure.
Normally, when you take a page, or normally even if you see the maps, all the maps are north is pointing upwards.
Correct.
Up direction. But in your charts, it's kind of a reverse direction. You're showing
It's a
south,
complex question to answer.
South
Very-
and the north is.
Very complex question to answer. Many people confuse about that. Okay, north is when you look at when you see the house plan, they will show you where the north faces. It's a general direction that they give you so that you get a certain orientation of that building. It's not the correct north, and it is not always facing on the top. Not always.
Well, normally when you draw a map, you're always this is a world map.
So
and,
that is probably used by architects where they will say that okay, north is this side. So architects are our big enemies actually.
Okay.
I'm just making it lighter. I have a lot of architect friends. So it is the compass direction that is more important than what is shown on the plan. Okay. Any other question?
So my core number is 1 and it shows that my success is in the south. So when I'm working, I will face the south or my laptop will face the south.
No, you face the south.
Okay.
South should be in front of you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, can we have your
Okay.
contact number?
Yeah,
Sir,
you
can
can
we
take
have your
down my
contact
number.
number?
Yeah, sure. 93201.
9352.
I'll type it in the chat box. 93201 22620. You can take one more number. So 93201 is my number. 98694 is my wife's number. So you can, if you don't get me, then you can talk to her.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So Cynthia had raised her hand somewhere, I think. So.
Yeah.
Yes, Cynthia.
You mentioned about if the core number is 5, then for men it is?
For men, they go to core number 2, and for women, they become core number 8.
Okay.
So just go to the core calculator and get your core number. They don't tell you whether it's core 5 or anything like that. They'll just directly give you what is your core number. Because there are some technicalities which everything I cannot explain in this. Right? So go to that core calculator, put your date of birth, and you'll directly get your core number.
So you mean to say the one who's getting 5 is actually should read it as 8? Is that so?
If it is a female, then
Yes.
she becomes core 8, and if it is a male, then it becomes core 2.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other question? I hope this has been somewhat fruitful for you. I know you can't practice everything completely, but you can do. My master always used to sing, at least give them one direction. Even if a beggar, if you give him a good one direction, that is better Feng Shui for him. So you can at least tap some of your good things by understanding what is your core number and what are your good directions. But don't panic if your house is not all that good for you. Don't worry about that. Life comes with plus and minuses both together. ऐसा कोई भी नहीं है जिसके पास प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. So don't think just because my house is a -90 house में गया वाट लग गई मेरी. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. I myself have stayed for many years in a -60 house. So life comes with, remember, it is about balance of life and not just the plus and minus. You will get your minuses and you will have your pluses. But what will give you, it's when you are in balance, then you are much more stronger to handle the challenges of your life. Much more stronger when you are in balance. Okay.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I think so. It was quite an interactive, and I loved the number of questions that came.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much for guys for participating. I hope this was a valuable session for each one of you.
I think this has been one of the most interactive sessions that we've had in Lost Key. So it just epitomizes the kind of benefits or the thought process that you have generated.
So if I didn't keep it interactive now, log bhag jate the. Yeah.
So actually, I wanted to summarize, but I think I lost myself somewhere in the way, and I thought I'll be, making mistakes. So I didn't do that, but I just had one line which I saw on your teacup. That my dad, that I don't need Google. My dad knows everything. I think this summarizes the whole evening for the 45 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
So we can say that we don't require Feng Shui. We only know Raju.
Yes. So thank you very much. It was
thank you so much.
Nitesh, you would like to say a few things?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Rajendra ji. I think beautiful session, Raju. I think
thank you.
Very knowledgeable. I think it's more complex as you said.
Yeah.
So maybe we can articulate this next time also in a way that it enhances what you've taught today.
Sure.
In terms of knowledge sometime later.
And Raju, you must have noticed Nitesh has moved from a 80 to 70 also.